of such a person who is rich, is not a Lakshmipati. But a Lakshmipati is a rich person. He receives people with a big heart. So, the coziness of the lotus should be in that Lakshmi. In another hand, in, in the two other hands, one hand has this symbol like this, another is like this. This suggests that such a man must do dan. Now, in English, I don't know what is the word for dan because nothing is that dignified. Dan means giving alms, but it is not dignified word. You can say, Kavin, what word will you say for dan? Tell me in English. You see, that to give away. Huh? Charity also is little bit, you see, to be charitable means, you see, you are higher than the person whom you charity. Huh? Offering, if you say, then it's a different meaning in. But I would say dan means by which sharing is takes place. Sharing. Huh? Generosity? Do you think it's nearest? Alright. Generosity. But generosity, yeah. You can say at the most generosity. But giving your generosity, you can say. And by this is ashraya. Means there should be people depending on such a person. So you have to be an enlightened person. So that people should depend on. A rich man has to be a dignified person. But normally it is not. A rich man, first of all, he will start dressing up like a teenager. He might be the age of 60 years. You find many like that. Immediately all his dignity is fallen off as soon as he becomes. Then he must go to races. He must take to drinks. He must be found on the street. Some policeman must. And it must appear in the paper. Now, I've seen some also horrid things about women who are rich. I must say that this happened in England, but it's funny. For you people it will be funny, but it's common there. A 90-year-old woman, rich woman, 90-year-old rich woman, having a love affair with a 19-year-old boy. She's a rich woman. I mean, I don't know what to call this. Stupidity. The rich in India, God save. No enlightenment of any kind they have. If they had, there would have been no problems at all. So this is a symbol of Lakshmi at this stage. The sustaining power is the Lakshmi. The sustainers. What should be the dharma and all that? Now if I discuss it will be too much. But I've told you, for example, drinking goes against the dharma of man. It goes against the dharma of man. Because it goes the awareness of man. If you lose your awareness, how are you going to rise to a higher awareness? Now people know by drinking these things happen. But they will say, what does it matter, Mataji, if you drink a little bit for our society? But what does it matter if you take a little poison? You'll get used to it. Gradually you will start taking poison. There are so many people, in this country especially, if they take a little of tobacco, they feel giddy and fall on the ground. This tobacco. There must be some in you also. They cannot even look at tobacco. There must be some. But there are some who can take tons inside their being. How is it? Both are human beings. So by little and little, those countries who have accepted this as a social thing have done the greatest harm to themselves. Because in the beginning they were taking only little. That was, I should say, about 100 years back, you can say about 200 years back. But today if you go and see them, they are alcohol. They can't live without. So the pioneers were the little ones, and the sufferers are those now who are fed up with alcohol because they think it doesn't intoxicate, so they have taken to drugs or they think it's another experiment. So you have more police force, you do all kinds of things to control it. It's not possible. Muhammad Sahib has clearly said no intoxications. Nothing. Nothing at all. Nanak has said the same. They are both the same people, you will be surprised. Same people born at different times. Same people teaching the same thing. Nanak said the same thing, no smoking, nothing. But today there are no Sikhs in the morning they wear. Sikhs are fighting in London that we should not wear the helmets. Imagine. Where is it written? In which book Nanak Sahib has written this? I would like to see. That helmets, on the contrary, he said, Bhesh kya fayde ka? What is the use of changing your dress? And they are fighting on this point. But the way the Sikhs drink in London, I mean, the Britishers are ashamed. They think that they are no good compared to Sikhs, the way they can consume. And they are fighting in the name of religion. It's a fact, I am telling you. That the helmet they cannot wear because they must have a right and freedom to crack their heads on a scooter. What is this? There is a big procession every someday they take it out against protesting. My hat's off to all these people. That is what they have done out of Nanak Sahib. And the Muslims, think of that. They have written poetry on drinking. Now if I say you don't have to drink, they will think this lady is talking from about 10,000 years back. But it's a fact, I am telling you, it is not meant for human consumption at all, none of these things. Now they might say that Christ was drinking wine. Now wine never means alcohol. I mean grape juice which is fresh, which is unfermented, is different. But the fermented, even molasses, anything you can ferment, it becomes an alcohol which is satanic, is a process only to be used for polishing things. You are drinking the polish. And all your intestines all are polished off nice. And your liver is ruined. And then you come to Mataji, Mataji, our liver is ruined, now what to do? How to cure it? Now if I tell you, don't drink, it's very bad. But these days there are gurus like that, you know. They say you drink, do whatever you like. Only thing, give your purse here behind me. You can do whatever, you can even smuggle. You see, there was a guru who was teaching smuggling, actual smuggling to people. And all the shishas were caught in Jakarta. When they were smuggling, they lost billions and billions of dollars there. And when I went to Singapore, they came to me, this has happened. I said, no, where is your guru? He has gone to Switzerland. I said, when I? He said, you do whatever you like. Bring the purse here, that's all. If you cannot look after your wife and children, give them here also. You sacrifice everything in the name of God. And give everything to me, very nicely. You sacrifice. There are many who will support it. They are not gurus. If I tell you, they are Rakshasas. They are demons. Otherwise, nobody can do like this. These are demonic things. They are not afraid of anything. They have no conscience. Those who have no conscience are demons, are devils. They are not afraid of God. And they are doing everything in the name of God. Tomorrow they have to face God, no doubt. But you will also face. And when God will ask you, what have you been doing? Then you will find that you have no answer. You will say, I had kept a guru there. I was paying money to him. I was looking after him. He did this much. He said, what about your kundalini? What about your awakening? What about your realization? He said, that I don't know. I had kept one guru. You see, I was paying. He said, all right, where the guru has gone, you also go there. And you'll find the guru settled down very nicely among the worms in the deepest forests of hell. Take it from me. There is no need even for these people to die. They will face it in this lifetime. All such people have faced You have seen what has been the condition of gurus. So this is the center part of what it has to look after. And the another center that you find there is the center known as Swadhisthana chakra, which creates, which is a creative power within us. By this center, we think, we plan, and also our body is catered to. Now, other day only I discovered that doctors do not know what is the reason for diabetes. I'm surprised. I'll tell them. You can verify. It's very easy. This is the center which does two things. It thinks, plans. In Delhi, everybody's Swadhisthana chakra is caught. Why? Because too much of planning is going on here. Everybody is planning like mad. But there has to be certain balance between your thinking and between your emotions. You must have also a little balance. I don't know whether doctors think of the balance of the emotion with this. They do not. So the diabetes is caused because of this imbalance. You are all the time using this center for too much thinking, too much planning. But the same center looks after the upper part of the uh, liver, spleen, kidneys, and also the uterus. And also the thinking. So if you are thinking too much, you are using the energy on one side and there is no way of filling the petrol back. Then what happens? That your spleen suffers. It doesn't get the energy and you get the disease known as diabetes, which is only known to the people who think too much. It is not known to the poor people. They eat such a lot of sugar, they don't have to stop sugar. They eat such a lot of carbohydrates and such a lot of sugar, especially sugar, but they do not get diabetes because they do not think too much. Now thinking has become like a disease with people. They cannot stop it also. It grows like a horn in the head, I think. All the time thinking, they go mad. And they say how to stop it. It can only be stopped when the Kundalini rises above this. You go beyond thought. And the thinking creates within us, on the left hand side of the brain, through the Pingala Nadi, through the right side channel, it creates the ego. Is the ego. All thinking is done through ego. Those which are developed countries have worked out their developing through their ego. So the ego developed so much in that country that they got fed up of it. So what has happened as a reaction? The other side of it started growing. The younger people there started taking to drugs, taking to sedatives, which created in them the superego. The ego gave, Douglas is laughing, it's a fact, he knows he's done it. And he has crossed it and he has overcome it and he has won it. So he's laughing. And the superego has risen now to push back the ego. For a Westerner, always he'll say, oh, I'm so bad. I'm so no good. I'm good for nothing. It's not humility, it's the superego that is acting. While in India, the ego is rising. Be careful. You have to be in balance with ego and superego. If it is in the center, then only I can raise the Kundalini. If there is an imbalance, I have to remove the imbalance. And it is removed. The center known as the Swadhisthana chakra, which also controls the aortic plexus outside, is governed by a deity which we know very well is Brahmadev. And his power is Saraswati. He has incarnated only once on this earth, and you'll be surprised if I tell you who was that. Is Hazrat Ali. He was the son-in-law of Muhammad Sahib. Muhammad Sahib is the incarnation of the primordial master or the Adi Guru, who incarnated in the void in the Bhavasagar. And he is the same as Nanak. But if I tell this to Muslims, they'll kill me or the Sikhs will kill me. One of the two. I don't know who will come first. I don't think this time they are going to crucify, but they are not going to like it. They are the same people. There are 10 of them born like that. They are the same people born again and again. And they are the people, if you accept them in only one incarnation, they are not going to accept you. You have to accept them in all their incarnations. I'll give an example. There was a doctor who was suffering from the cancer of stomach, Muslim. He met me in London. And when I told him that you have to worship Dattatreya, he got a shock of his life. He said, you mean to say I must give up my religion? I said, your religion is in imbalance. He was the same as Muhammad Sahib. Actually, Dattatreya incarnated as Muhammad Sahib. He said, I cannot do that. I only believe in Muhammad Sahib. I said, all right, I cannot cure your cancer because cancer is because of imbalance. It's too much activity on one side. Overactivity of the sympathetic nervous system causes cancer. You write it down today and you can verify it. And that's why when people say I've cured cancer, I have, no doubt. Not only me, but even this doctor who is here has cured cancer. Cancer is only curable through the balance of Sahaja. Otherwise, it's not possible. Take it from me. So the imbalance of this man, he would not listen. But cancer is a great thing that way. He had to come back. All right, mother, I accept. I said, all right, now will you pray to Dattatreya? A Muslim has to become a Hindu, and a Hindu has to become a Muslim. A Sikh has to become a Muslim, and a Muslim has to become a Sikh. How can you divide God into so many ways? This division is like the atom being split. You are splitting. You are finding all ways and methods of splitting each other. And what you are gathering is the volcanic force of destruction within yourself. So the so-called drunkards who call themselves Muslims and the so-called drunkards, the Sikhs, must know that they are very far away from the gurus whom they worship as their leader. And as Christ said, you'll be calling me Christ, Christ, and I won't recognize who you are. It's going to be that. For cancer, you have to have balance of understanding the complete integrated form of God, which has come on this earth, incarnated as different flowers on the same one tree of life, which has been at different levels. Like in a tree, you have sometimes first you have the leaves, then you have the flowers, then you have the fruits. But these are the flowers of the same tree, have been taken away by different people just to create problems of dead flowers. They are living on the same living tree of life. So, I have told you already about one chakra, that is Muladhara chakra, the Muladhara where Kundalini resides. Then about the Nabhi chakra, from where it rises, the Swadhisthana chakra, which moves round and round and creates the Bhavasagara. I have also told you about the spirit, the flicker of light that exists in the heart, which is looked after by Shiva. The flicker of light, which is the Sakshi, which is the witness. It is like a flicker that you find in a gas light. Now, the gas itself is not enlightened. The gas itself is the energy, but is not enlightened. The flicker is enlightened. When the gas passes over to the flicker, it also gets enlightened. That is what is Sahaja Yoga is. That is what is the Kundalini awakening when it touches that flicker. But the flicker has got the seat on top of the head here, which is known as the seat of the Sadashiva. And this is the form or aspect of God which is existence. God, Shiva, is existence. And this is the first form which emerges into all these forms, like the seed emerges into the whole tree and becomes the seed, and ultimately at the dissolution point also it becomes Shiva. That's why it is known as Shiva, means a permanent form. It doesn't go into any uh, formations, it doesn't incarnate, it is a witness which watches. That's the aspect of God. So you have got three aspects of God. The first one, which is the Shiva, which is the existence. The second one, which is the creator, which is Brahmadeva. And the third one, which is Vishnu, which is the sustainer, which evolves, which is which gives evolutionary movement, which incarnates, which has incarnated 10 times. Now, the chakra above that, you see in the center, which we call as sacred heart, is in the center, is known as the cardiac center. You can say Hridaya chakra. You all know what is Hridaya chakra. Is placed here, behind, in the medulla oblongata, but outside also is a cardiac plexus. Now this center, the cardiac center, is governed by the deity Jagadamba, the mother of the universe. Parvati, wife of Shiva, the power of Shiva, takes her place here to help the struggling evolutionary human beings who are trying to evolve themselves, to protect them from the satanic, from the demonic forces. She is known as Lalita. She is known by many names. They say she has been incarnated 108 times. She has been incarnated many a times. She has incarnated as a Amsha also, as a part of her, has also been incarnated. She is the essence of Raksha, is the protection. A person who suffers from insecurity gets this throbbing here, he gets disturbed. People who suffer from fear have this problem here. She gives us the protection. She is the protector. And she is the mother of this world, Jagadamba. On the right hand side of the heart exists, left hand side I've already told you, right hand side exists the symbol of Sri Ram, and his power is Sita. Sri Ram is at an evolutionary stage, came as a leader on this earth, as an incarnation of Vishnu, eighth incarnation. And he tried to show the political leadership of a divine nature. He incarnated on this earth 12,000 years back. And at that time, in the whole awareness of human beings, the idea of a leader, as a political leader, was born. He is responsible for creating the political awakening within us 12,000 years back in the human awareness. His power was Sita, his wife, who was a very simple woman. But she was the form of Adishakti. We know she was. Because at that time the people were very sensitive, they could see that. These days people are not. They cannot make out a Ravana from Sita. See, that is what is the condition of our sensitivity. This is the central force, is known as the force of Mahalakshmi. So the Lakshmi is born as Sita for the first time as a human being. On the left-hand side force is known as the force of Mahakali. Vidyut, I wanted to meet you. अच्छा, पार हो गए ना? अच्छा, what time are you leaving? अभी खत्म कर ले lecture. Can she come tomorrow? Tomorrow morning is the meditation. Oh God. काठमांडू में जा रहे हैं. अच्छा. I'm also going to Kathmandu on the 16th evening. Will you be there? All right, so you can give her the address. I will try to contact you. All right? May God bless you. So, the left hand side power is known as Mahakali's power, and the right hand side known as the Mahasaraswati's power. Now, the central power is for evolution. The central power, or you can say the central ascending column, is meant for the evolution of man. So you are born, all of us, in the Bhavasagara state. Now you have to ascend from one to another to another to another. The higher one than that is, as I told you, on the right hand side is that of Sri Rama, and his power is Siddha. The complete form of Vishnu came to human beings 6,000 years back as Shri Krishna. That is at this chakra known as Vishuddhi chakra. Shri Krishna is the complete form. Why we say the complete? Because for him, the whole play, the whole Leela was to be just seen. This whole creation was nothing but just a play created. He had reached that stage and he talked of it. He said, Nainam chiranti shastrani, nainam dahati pavak. You cannot be killed by any instrument or by anything. And he did samhara. His greatest quality was that he killed many demons on this earth. Now those who talk of non-violence will say, oh, he was a violent man. There is a divine method which has to be employed to kill those demons. That was needed. And he did kill. He was the incarnation of a diplomat. What is a diplomat? Diplomat is a person who is a sakshi, who is a witness, who plays the divine diplomacy. He played the divine diplomacy. And you are still in that diplomacy when you read Gita, very much. I'll tell you in 2 sentences how to understand his diplomacy in Gita. Very necessary. He said, in the very beginning, at the very outset, that you seek him within yourself. He told Arjuna, you seek him within yourself. You have to become a sakshi. Arjuna, being a mediocre, asked him a question that you are saying that you must seek him within yourself, you should become a sakshi, a witness, and here you are telling me to go on the war, to kill people, to kill my own brothers, kill my own relations. What he wanted to say, that it's all a play, but it only becomes a play when you become that witness, when you are realized. That's what he told him. But Arjuna was a mediocre in this respect. So he, being a father, he understood. Like a father who comes out of his hut and sees his son beating the cart. So he tells him, you bring the horse in front of the cart, then only the cart is going to move on. But the child, the son, doesn't want to listen to his father. He says, no, I'm going to beat the cart. So he plays the diplomacy, the father. The mother does not. Mother tells you the fact. So he played the diplomacy there. Divine diplomacy. He says, all right, you go on beating. But keep your attention on the horse and you will go forward. That's an absurd thing. It cannot happen, He told something absurd. So he says, all right, do your karmas. But put it at the feet of the Lord. You cannot do it. It cannot be done. This is something, an impossibility, because there is an ego in you. If you do any work and if you think, oh, I am putting everything at the feet of the Lord, you are just deceiving yourself. This is his diplomacy is played with you. You cannot. Those who believe in such a thing should know that it's a deception. It can only happen when you become a hollow personality. For these people now, those who are realized, you will see, they will say, it's going, it's coming. Then do not say that I am giving, I am doing. You have to become a hollow thing like this, which just stands and sees and passes through it. The divine has to flow through you. And about bhakti, about the devotion, dedication is another diplomacy. You see his words. You see, nobody sees. I am surprised. They have written 500 books on Gita. Nobody has seen this simple point that he has played a diplomacy with you, because you do not know that you are not beyond ego yet. You have to go beyond it to be that. So he says about bhakti also, pushpam phalam toyam, whatever you give me, flower, this I will accept. But while giving, see the diplomacy, one word he plays. In devotion you must do ananya bhakti. See the word ananya. Ananya means when you are not the other, when you are united, when you are one with it. When do you become one? When you are realized. Everybody will say, oh yes, you must do bhakti, take Krishna's name, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, develop a cancer of the throat. Yes, they do all of them, I tell you. So many have come to me for treatment and I said, now what am I to tell them? Go say Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, you'll get to God. Very easy method, You go on jumping on the Oxford Street, you dance, wear a dhoti which is falling off, you get to God. What a stupid idea. But there are many. They are now begging in Guntur. I went there. They're settled down nicely. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, everywhere. They came to me, are in India? Yes, I said, by chance I am. Will you buy this book? Only give me 5 annas. It's all right. I will not mind 5 annas. I said, thank you very much. And they are near God, begging like poor people. They have no shame in the name of God. Taking his name and begging. You have to do ananya bhakti. Means you have to be a realized soul. Now, how do you know a person is a realized bhakti or not? Very easy. A person who speaks of separation, like Surdas, he was not a realized soul. Those who talk of their tortures, oh God, when are you going to meet me? They are not realized souls. But those like Kabir and Nanak, like Christ. Christ was an incarnation. But those who talk and sing the praise of meeting are the people who are realized. I mean, a person who has met God, why should he talk of separation? It is a simple thing. But we like the songs of the people who talk of their, I don't know what you call that, who killed himself, who started calling himself, oh Lord, when are you going to meet me? He broke his neck there, he broke his head there. What is the need to do all this? They are fasting. Why are you fasting? I don't understand. Why do you want to make your body weak? In this body, the Lord is going to come. And this body is fasting. If fasting people have to get God, at least 30% people of this country should get it automatically. They are made to fast. Huh? क्या कह रहे? Women, Santoshi Ma, fast. Any fast, that's gone to such an absurd limit. And these Brahmins, I will put them responsible. They have given all wrong ideas, absolutely juxtaposition. How? On a Sankashti, the day when Sri Ganesh is born in the family. See, imagine, that day you must fast. Imagine the argument behind it. That day, you see, supposing somebody is born in your family. I mean, you celebrate. You are so happy. उस दिन खुश हो. कुछ शौक रखना चाहिए. Supposing I come to your house and you are fasting, I'll run away the next moment. You see, if you write, today we are fasting, nobody is going to come to your house. If you have to share in fasting, you can do like Karwa Chauth, they share in fasting. You should fast only on one day, definitely you must. That is Narak Chaturdashi. That day they will eat because that day Narakasura was killed. And he was put in the Naraka, means the hell. He was put down there and the gates of the hell were opened for him and all such people are put on that day into the hell. So that day you should not get up early in the morning, sleep in your bed.
But it doesn't appear in the calendar.
See, the calendar I don't know who has made.
So many people.
You see, but we must use our brains. What is a Narak Chaturdashi meant? Actually, these must be some Rakshasas, must be some devils who must have created these calendars for us, some of them. That you must fast. I don't know who has written such a nonsensical thing. The day when the gates of the Narkas are open, that day they will get up at 4 o'clock, take their baths, and nicely eat. All the Rakshasas will be going with the food inside the stomach in the Nabija. The picture has come of, the picture has appeared of some Santoshima. Everybody fasting on Friday. Then the absurd ideas about eating food, that makes the difference. Also, this is being introduced. In Gita also, I am sure, there are so many things which are being brought, which are wrong. To say that you are born a Brahmin, and that is postnatal or prenatal, as they call it, prenatal. And how can that be? You just think it over. Use your brains. I would say use your brains. Vyasa, the author of Gita. Author of Gita, Vyasa. Whose son was he? Do you know? He was a son of a fisherwoman. Illegitimate son. You know, all of you. Of Parashar Muni. And he is going to write that you have to be born as a Brahmin. Those who think that by being born as Brahmins you become Brahmins, I must say, are sadly mistaken. Brahmin means a person who is reborn, who is a realized soul, who has known the Brahma. It describes a tendency of a person who is seeking God. Is the Brahmin caste? Is a tendency. How can Vyasa write like this? You just tell me. How can Vyasa write like this? Now this is being put onto his head. Just pinned onto him. Like the Tantrikas. Oh God, they are the worst of all. They have spoiled all our scriptures, they have spoiled all our Shilpa Shastras, they have spoiled everything. The greatest demons that could be born in this country were the Tantrikas. They have ruined all the beauties of our scriptures. Even Ashwamedha Yajna, they connect it with sex. I mean, there's limit to things. And that's why when the people go to Konarak, they think, oh, Konarak, most enchanting place in the whole country. Nothing more better than that. Rest is this Khajuraho. Actually, that's the only aspect which has spoiled all the beauty of that place. If they didn't have that, it would have been much better. Konarak, of course, the architect himself was a Tantrika, so I cannot say anything about it. Such a horrid fellow he was. But here, the poor architects were given prizes by these licentious and permissive kings to produce new styles and new types of these horrible erotic pictures. There was a competition held and it entered into our Shilpa Shastra, into our sculptures. It has gone up to the south. And you'll be amazed, in the south there's a temple where they have shown a bad relationship between Gauri and Ganesha. Can you believe it? And are we to accept it because it was done by some foolish ancestors of ours? And everybody says, why? It's all right. In your country also, you see, you have these things, we have seen it. Very nice. And they have written books on Kama Shastra, Koko Shastra, this, that. What is the Shastra needed for this thing? I don't understand. Do the animals read any Shastras for creating children? For a simple thing like that, why do you have to read and make so much deliberations? Are you gone mad? All these artificial things I don't understand. For a natural thing, which everyone knows, why should they go into such things? And the result, I'm sorry to say, is 70% impotency today in America. Because all artificiality, the spontaneity is lost, the sanctity is lost. All kinds of diseases. Every third person is diseased. Every third person. You also are following them. After all, the Sahabs have gone, but now we are becoming all Sahabs. The Sahabs have come from England wearing our kurta pajamas, and our Sahabs are wearing ties. Because, you see, somebody told me that we used to think, where are our lords lost? They are in India. From England. उनसे कुछ सीखने का नहीं है, आप जान लीजिए, उनसे कुछ जानने का नहीं. Of course, dress doesn't matter. Whatever you wear, it makes no difference. But main thing is that to know yourself, to be yourself, is a very, very subtle happening. For this, God has placed all these chakras within us. So the outside does not matter so much, no doubt. But in a way it does. In the sense that when there is a deep light, you have to have the earthen pot all right, you have to have the proper amount of oil in it, you have to have the wick properly put up, and then only you can enlighten. If these three things are not all right, then I cannot enlighten you. So these three things are also important. So your dharma has to be all right. Of course, I'm not saying that if you are drinking, you cannot get realization. You can. And you can also get the power to get over your habits in no time, because once you get realized, you get intoxicated by yourself, by your own powers. You can feel in your hand the power flowing like vibrations, cool vibrations. If you use them, then you will know that you can cure people with this. After some time, you can give awakening of the Kundalini. When you will raise your hand, the Kundalini will move in another person. There are many. Now you have got Subramaniam here, who has cured so many people. He is a government servant just like you. He has given awakening to so many people. He has given realization to so many people. You can also do it. The power exists within you, which becomes intelligible or conscious in your central nervous system also, and you can feel it flowing. You can work it out. Now you will know why people have described in the Kundalini awakening, this thing happens, that thing happens. If you go from the wrong side, it is going to happen. You have to be an authorized person. Tomorrow you put your hand in an electrical appliance and you said, there is so many problems. You should not do it. Only the engineer can do it, the authorized person can do it. This is all unauthorized. The first and foremost thing is that such a person has to be a realized person, and not only realized, but has to be a holy person. 3-4 air hostesses are friends of such and such person, and he is giving Kundalini away. He is eloped with his wife. He is smuggling that side. He is smuggling gold from London, he is bringing down by air, and he is giving Kundalini rising. There should be some sense in what people talk. This is a very holy happening, has to happen in the holiest way. Now there is another chakra here. Where is this red spot is? We all put it here, but we do not know why we put it there. This is the center which is placed where the crossing of the optic nerves take place. You can call it the optic thalamus at that point. At that point it is placed. And this center controls the pituitary and pineal glands, which control, pituitary controls the ego and the pineal controls the superego. For a doctor, he knows about the pineal and pituitary, but he does not go further than that to know that it controls your ego and superego. Even if he knows, he does not know how to control. Now with Sahaja Yoga, you can see that they are like two balloons in your head. You can see them. It starts from the Vishuddhi chakra here, petals, where Sri Krishna reigns, whose power is Radha. And they rise in our head and move like this. There are two balloons which cover up our head completely about the age of 12 years or so. Completely. Calcification is complete at that time. Though to feeling, it is earlier. And that's how you develop a separate personality. You are Mr. So and so, he is Mr. So and so. Is the articulation. It is like a shell of an egg you are made. You are made like that because you have to grow inside the shell of your own being. You are a separate प्रज्ञा वैसे नहीं करो सबका चित्त वहां जाता है. You are a shell, he is a shell, and you are given the warmth, kept there, developed. In the end, the egg is broken here, and through it comes out a new personality, a new person within, which is a very different person from the one which was before. This is Sahaja Yoga. So that center which is here placed at the crossing point of the optic nerve is known as the Agya Chakra, and the deity placed there is Mahavishnu. I don't know how far people have read about Devi or Devi Mahatmya or Markandeya or even Adi Shankaracharya. Now Mahavishnu is a creation of Radhaji. He is the son of Radha. He created him out of Sri Ganesha's essence and in a special way. And this child was created in the Vaikunta stage, in the heaven we can say, and he incarnated on this earth as Jesus Christ. Lord Jesus Christ was not a human being. He took a form, but his body was completely Chaitanya. His body also was completely divine, specially created by his mother, who was Mary, but actually she was Radha herself. Sita became Radha, and then she became Christ's mother. She is Adi Shakti. Mary is not an ordinary woman. She is Radha herself. And if you read about Mahavishnu's birth, you will know that exactly the same is Christ. The name is Mahavishnu, and here it is Christ. Now, Jesus Christ name. Jesus, Jesu or Yesu. This is the name of Yashoda, was given by Radha to her son. We say Yesu or Jesu. And Christ is his surname. Krishna's name came from the word Krishi. Krishi means agriculture. He is the man who has sown the seed. Krishna came and he has sown the seed of that awareness by which you can become the Sakshi of this play, the witness of this play. And Christ's name is Christ, is the same as Krishna's name. When he talks of his father, he talks of Sri Krishna. Sri Krishna was his father. When he describes him all the time of his father, it is Sri Krishna. And in the Vaikuntha stage, it is described very clearly how Sri Krishna himself came to bless him and told him that you will be placed even higher than me because your body will be made out of Chaitanya. Chaitanya, what is the English word for Chaitanya? Of consciousness. But consciousness is not Chaitanya. Huh?
No.
Divine awareness. Of the divine awareness, you can say the divine awareness itself, the divine vibrations are shown in us in the same way. He is made out of that, like Sri Ganesha. Now, if he saw or not, because most of you are Indians here, you might challenge it. You may. I can prove it to you. The cross is the same swastika. The ayudhas or the weapons of Sri Ganesha have become avyakt are not expressed, because he used one weapon for all of them, is of forgiveness. And that is the greatest weapon of all. And that's why at this stage when the Kundalini goes, you have to take his name or you have to forgive people. Forgiveness is the greatest weapon that God has given us. Now it is for you to verify whether I say it is correct or not. But crucifixion is not the message. Crucifixion is the explanation of what Krishna preached, that the Chaitanya, the divine awareness, does not vanish, does not, it is Akshara. It does not get killed. You cannot control it. And this was to be proved in his life through his resurrection. The resurrection is the message of Christ. But as in India, you have done all the mess of all these incarnations. They have done the mess of Christ in two ways. One, by not respecting the celibacy of life. He was a celibate person. He was a holy person. Of course, he respected the marriage institution because he attended the marriage. You have crucified him again. And secondly, which is his power of forgiveness, complete power of forgiveness. But they had empires. They now want to have economic, what you call the economic controlling power, and all kinds of these things they are doing under the name of political, I don't know what they call it. They have to be Christians. All that was against him is done now today, as we Indians have done all that was against Hinduism. When Shankaracharya himself has told, na yogena sankhena, still we are having Hatha Yoga, now we are going to have Hatha Yoga in the college. Patanjali Shastri himself, Patanjali has said not to have Hatha Yoga. For the married people, for the householders, it is meant for very few who go to the jungle, stay with gurus. Every person is having here Hatha Yoga. Now this boy, today he was suffering because of Hatha Yoga. Of course I have stopped it. But still, you'll have heart troubles, you'll have everything. Now you teach your students here and let them have sex also. In the West, very nicely, Hatha Yoga is very good because everybody wants to become an actress.